Hey, it's Mike from AutomationEngage.com, and today I want to talk to you about gaps in data that might be happening in your business. So what do I mean by gaps in data? What I'm talking about is that you have different pieces of software inside your business that have their own bits of data that are crucial to the overall running of your business. So you have your email service, you may have a website or a membership platform, you could have a shopping cart, you could have a customer service help desk, and you could have your overall payment processor, which could be, say, PayPal or Stripe. A lot of times there's gaps between these systems. Your shopping cart and your email service might integrate fully, but perhaps your help desk doesn't fully integrate, or your website doesn't integrate with your shopping cart or whatever. So what ends up happening is that there's gaps in data between these different services, and that's not a good thing because you have to look at multiple sources to get a true picture of what's going on. It's always a good idea to get pieces that work well together, and then that way you can have them talking back and forth to each other and they're keeping the data current. Because what often happens is you'll have different teams in your business. You'll have a customer service team and they look at their help desk as gospel, and you'll have maybe your marketing team that might be looking at the email database, and if the two of those are not in sync with each other, then there's room for people to fall through the gaps. One instance is somebody makes a purchase and they get refunded, and you don't have a tight enough process there, you don't have an automated process there because maybe your shopping cart doesn't update your email database, and you have maybe your customer service rep who's going into either PayPal or Stripe and is doing a refund. That's not carried over into the email database. So now you might have them in an onboarding email sequence thinking that they just bought something because you're not aware that they just refunded. So that's where the gaps in your system happen, and you have to close those gaps. Some of it can be automated. It's going to depend on what your tech stack is, but even if you don't automate it, you need to know, how does somebody come into your database as a lead or as a prospect? What happens when they buy? What happens after they buy? And then also, what happens if they refund? What does your customer service do? How does your customer service let either your marketing team or the email database know that this person is no longer a customer? Those are the types of things that you need to answer before you can close the gaps in your business. The more gaps that you have like this, the more of a bottleneck you're going to have in your business. The less you're really going to know about the people that you're emailing. If you don't have close to real-time connection between those different systems, then you're going to be guessing. You're going to be talking to people who you think are customers who may not be customers. You may be talking to people who are prospects who are customers. It's going to make you look bad, and people are going to tune you out. It's something that you have to keep your eye on as you continue to grow. You need to be able to know where those gaps are, get your processes down, so that way you can close those gaps and you can speak to people confidently because you have the up-to-date information on who they are, what their interests are, whether they've bought from you in the past, what they've bought from you, so that way you can be relevant with them whenever you communicate with them. So hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and if you found this useful, then please subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in my next video.